Hello, class, and welcome back to school. Today, our lesson is about volume. Okay? So, with volume, it's a couple of things that you have to know. First thing that you need to know is that all of these little cubes that you see inside of these rectangular prisms are called unit cubes. One is called a unit cube, and if you notice, I got a picture of just one right here. Now, normally, a unit cube, it could be like measured in centimeters, it can be measured in inches, meters, whatever. Okay, just one of them is called a unit cube. So when we're trying to find volume is like how many cubes are in here at all. It's a couple of ways that you can do volume. I can actually kind of visualize how many cubes I see here, or I can use my volume formula. My volume formula is length times width times height. Okay, my volume formula is length times width times height. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at these 5 examples right here, and we're going to find the length, the width, and the height, and we're going to find the volume of each one of these figures. So length is how long something is, width is how wide something is, and height is how tall something is. So I always tell students, when you find the length, width, and height, kind of start at the bottom here. That's your length. Go to the side. That's your width. And go up. That's your height. So the part that's laying flat or horizontal is your length. The part that's kind of slanted or diagonal is your width. And the part that's going vertical or kind of up and down is your height. So all we want to do here is just count the cubes that we see along this line that I drew. So I want to start off with my length. So I want to just count all the boxes here that I see that's along this line. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So my length is 5 units. Now, if I had some type of measurement here, like centimeters or inches, I wouldn't write units. I'll write like 5 centimeters or 5 inches right here. My width is the part that's in that diagonal or that slant. So I want to count how many boxes I see just in that slant right here. And I see 1, 2. So my width is 2 units. And again, if I had some type of measurement, if I had like centimeters or inches there, I would put inches at the end of 2 and not units. My height is how tall something is. So I want to count that. So I got 1, 2, 3. And if you notice, I count, even though this one was counted in my width, I'm still going to recount it because it's part of the height. Okay, it's still part of the height, so I'm still going to count that one. So my height is 1, 2, 3. So it's 3 units. So I have all my measurements. I have my length, my width, and my height. So all my formula tells me to do is just multiply those 3 numbers. So I'm going to multiply 5 times 2 times 3. So I'm going to ask this question, class. If for some reason I wrote these numbers in here backwards, say for instance I wrote 3 times 5 times 2, would I get the same answer? And I'm just going to pause a minute. I want y'all to think about that. If I rearrange these numbers in here and I said 2 times 5 times 3, would I get the same answer? So I want y'all to think about that for a second. The answer would be yes, I would get the same answer because multiplication is commutative, meaning that it doesn't matter what 2 numbers, what 3 numbers you multiply together, it's always going to come out to be the same answer no matter the arrangement of the numbers. So when I multiply this right here, I can do a little mental math. Now I know that 5 times 3 is 15. And I kind of know that, okay, if I multiply or add 2 15s together, I get 30. Or I can group 5 times 2 together, and that's 10. And I know 10 times 3 is 30. So my answer is 30 units. Now watch this part right here. Cubed. And I just put a little 3 at the top. Or I can write this as 30 cubic units. That's the two ways I can write it. I can write it as either 30 units cubed, 30 cubic units. And think about this. Why do you think we put that 3 at the top right there? Or we say cubic, because cubic normally means 3 also. Well, look at it. We have 3 dimensions here. We have length, width, and height. We got 3 dimensions there. Let's look at the next example. Okay, again, we're trying to find the volume. So we're going to use our volume formula. Start at the bottom, your horizontal side, or the part that's going from left to right. Go to the side, that's your diagonal side, and go up. Okay? So the bottom part right here, that is my length. This is my width, whatever in the diagonal, and my height is whatever's going vertical up and down. So the only thing I want to do is just count those unit cubes there. So I have 1, 2, 3. So I got 3 units here. And on the side, I just have 1 unit. And again, remember I told you we're going to count that one again. Even though that's part of that width, it's also part of the height. So we're going to count that when we're dealing the height. So I got 1, 2. So 2 units. So my formula is simple. It just says multiply the length times the width times the height. So my length is 3. My width is 1 and my height is 2. So when I multiply that, I got 3 times 1 is 3 times 2 is 6. So my answer is 6 units cubed, or is 6 cubic units. Now on your classwork assignments, I want you to follow the directions that I'm doing on the video. I want you to look at each unit cube as being 1, because on one worksheet you're going to see, okay, that's 7 unit cubes. No, I want you to count each unit cube as 1. So don't look at the directions on the worksheet. I want you to treat each unit cube as being 1. Because you notice as I'm counting, I'm saying 1, 2, 3. I'm counting by ones. So this answer is 6 units cubed. Now, let me go back. Say, for instance, if they had said that this was centimeters, it would be 6 centimeters cubed, or 6 cubic centimeters, if they had centimeters on here. Let's look at the next one. And I'll make this one about centimeters too, just to kind of let you all know what I'm talking about. So we got to find our length, which is this horizontal side, width, the diagonal side, and our height is our vertical side. So I want to count. So I got 1, 2. So 2. And I'm going to add centimeters this time, so we can get an idea of what I'm talking about when you see centimeters or inches on your worksheet. And the width, I'm going to count that. So I got 1, 2, 3. 3 centimeters. My height, again, I'm going to count that bottom one, because that's part of your height. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 centimeters. So again, we're multiplying. We're just doing our volume formula. So I have 2 times 3 times 5. And that's similar to this one. It's just turned different. So these are basically the same units right here. They just switched around. So I already know this answer is 30. So I know this one is also 30. And this time we're not going to say units. I'm going to say centimeters, because I changed it to centimeters. So I'm going to say 30 centimeters cubed. Or I'm going to say 30 cubic centimeters. Okay? The next one right here, we're going to count our length. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And remember, going along the sides, the bottom part, or your horizontal side, the diagonal, and then the vertical side. So again, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to do inches this time, 6 inches. So we're just going to give it a unit. On your assignments, do not give it a unit. If it does not have a unit, like inches or centimeters, you're going to write the word unit. But if it gives you a unit like centimeters or inches, you'll write that unit at the end of each unit cube that you count. Okay? On the side, I have 1 inch, because it's just 1 here, 1. And I just have 1 going this way, 1. So 1 inch here also. So I'm going to multiply those numbers. I got 6 times 1 times 1. Well, I know any number times 1 is that number. So this is 6 inches cubed. or 6 cubic inches. So our last one, we're doing the same thing. We're going to look at the side that's going horizontal. Then look at the side that goes diagonal. And then look at the side that goes vertical. So we're looking at the side that goes horizontal, diagonal, and vertical. So I'm going to count this. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to do centimeters again. So 4 centimeters. And then my width, I'm going to count the diagonal side. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to say 5 centimeters. And then my height, remember, we're going to recount that one. So 1, 2 centimeters. So now when I multiply this, I got 4 times 5 times 2. So I can rearrange it. I can say 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 5 is 40. Or I can say 4 times 5 is 20, times 2 is 40. Whatever way you want to multiply that to get that answer. So I got 40 centimeters cubed, or I say 40 cubic centimeters. Would be how I would write that answer. Okay, so a couple of directions. On your worksheet, I want you to treat each unit cube as one unit. On one worksheet, you may see it may have 7 unit cubes. And if it did have 7 unit cubes, you just count by 7. You'll say 7, 14, 21, and so on. But I don't want y'all to follow the direction. I want y'all to treat each unit cube as one on your worksheet. Make sure also that when you're writing your final answer, that you name what the unit is. If it does not have a unit, you're going to put unit cube. It's really important that you put that 3 there, because that 3 lets you know that you're talking about volume. Or you can multiply it and write cubic units. But you have to put this on the that lets me know that you're talking about volume. Now, if you have any questions, we are meeting while we're completely virtual. We are meeting on Tuesdays and Thursdays for I think the next 2 weeks, I believe. So if you have any questions, get online with me. I'll go over it with you. And my time is from 10:30 to 11. And you go to the 5th grade page to log on with me. So if you have any questions, please log on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 10:30 to 11 to ask me any questions. And do all of your work. Show your work. Please just do not put answers. Show your work and upload that work to Google Classroom. And I'll see you all later. Goodbye.